Hello, everyone. Hey, everybody. My bad. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Grae Area Podcast.
Grae Area. Yeah.
I am Shakoya D.
Being Bree.
It's your boy Damani.
And yeah, welcome to the Grae Area. If this is your first time here, this is a podcast about whatever we feel like talking about. It could be love. It could be life. It could be snow.
Yeah.
It could be cold.
Yeah.
It could be anything we feel like, you know? That kind of rhymed a little bit.
The weather.
But, yeah, or it could be nothing at all. But before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And also tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Also, if you want to watch this podcast live,
You can do so on the Patreon. For the low price of $3 a month.
$3. The prices start at $3 a month. That allows us to create more content for you, more frequently, higher quality, and yeah, continue to grow. So if you want to watch this podcast live, join in on the conversation, talk to us while we're talking to you. Definitely join our Patreon. But how are you guys today?
I'm blessed and black. You know, I'm doing the best I can with every moment. Doing the best I can with every moment.
I'm doing well as well. I'm doing well as well.
All is well?
Yeah, good luck.
That's awesome.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Excuse me.
Full there.
I'm not even, it's weird because I didn't really eat nothing. So, like, I shouldn't be full, but I'm actually kind of full. So, but yeah, I'm good. I'm a little bit tired, but, you know, today is a good day.
I'm a little bit country.
I'm a little bit rocking.
Mm-hmm.
But what are we talking about today?
The topic at hand today is exactly what we was just doing. As we were talking, that's small talk. Topic is small talk. We don't like small talk. You like small talk?
Nah,
None of us like small talk.
I could do it. I could do it well if I
You can
wanted
do
to.
it with the best of them.
Could do it well because I'm well.
Well,
Carry on.
I thought it was an LL reference.
Nah.
Well, I could do it well.
Yeah, see, I wasn't even.
But,
You missed it.
yeah, small talk. That be over their head. You know, I'm an artist. All I had to dumb my stuff down so the masses could understand what I be talking about. You know? Before I was lyrical, miracle, schmiracle. Nah, I wasn't. But nah.
Nah.
I was gonna add that in one of the episodes. I don't know. I couldn't find a little.
I'm gonna start doing that. Like, if I say something and nobody laughing, I'm gonna just to break the ice. That goes well into small talk icebreakers.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good at this. My goodness.
We didn't even start doing it yet. Alright, so in one of our previous episodes, we said we were talking about small talk. If we didn't have a full-blown conversation about it, so don't think you missed the episode. But we were talking about small talk and how we don't have small talk with our friends. So the goal of today's podcast is to try to have small talk with each other, our friends, and see if it actually is possible and how long does it work before it becomes an actual conversation.
I think it's very possible. Well, I know it's very possible, and it's only like, I think it only takes 3 dialogues.
3 dialogues?
Mm-hmm.
So let's put that in a time frame. How many minutes do you think that will last?
Like a couple exchanges of words before it turns into an actual conversation. It just depends on what you pick, what you choose.
All right, so we're gonna try to keep the small talk. We're gonna try.
So it can't turn into an actual conversation?
No, it can.
Oh.
It can. If it does naturally, that's fine. But like,
I was gonna say, I also think the point of small talk is to get to a regular conversation.
So that people feel comfortable with us, like comfortable enough to get to actual crucial conversation.
But if you're already comfortable with somebody, will it still be small talk?
Mm-hmm.
Or will it just be regular conversation? I think that's what we need to see today.
So let's look up the difference between small talk
and big talk.
Yeah.
Big talk. Big steppers.
Small talk. Small talk is an informal type of discourse
Discourse.
that does not cover any functional topics of conversation or any transactions that need to be addressed. So again, small talk is an informal type of discourse that does not cover any functional topics of conversation or any transactions that need to be addressed. So it's just talk. It's just filler before we get to the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to the good part.
All right, so can we do it?
Y'all first.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How's the weather?
It's colder. It's a lot colder outside than. It's a lot colder outside than it should be. It all depends on the person. Like, because if you talk with emotion, they like, really?
Just have the conversation. Don't analyze it.
It's a lot colder than I thought it would be. I think it should be.
You know what's crazy? I didn't even realize that he had switched over. I thought he was in his full small talk mode.
No.
Like, it just depends on the person. I was like, oh wow, okay.
At first I did, but then I was like,
it depends. Like, even with that, it depends. Like that, we would have went to a different conversation. Oh, so what type of person are you? Elaborate. You like cold weather, hot weather? I be doing this I have small talk with myself, clearly. I be practicing. Go ahead, Joe.
But like what you were just saying, you could have just said.
I know.
And we could have continued the
All right, let's
conversation.
start over. And action. What's up, y'all? How you do that?
This? Oh, I just it's a scarf.
Scarf, okay.
Right? This is an actual neck scarf.
Sorry to cut you off, Queen, but from my understanding, we shouldn't be putting cotton in our hair. It should be. Dang, I forgot. Nylon. Satin.
Nylon. Hey.
Satin.
Well, I have
talking about them old school do-rags. Nylon. Gotta be tearing up my scalp.
I have a wig cap on underneath this.
Oh, word,
so
my
this
bad.
isn't on it's not on my actual hair.
I be misspeaking, but it adds for good conversation. It makes for good conversation.
You didn't misspeak, you just didn't know.
Word. Appreciate you. You can learn from a queen. You can learn from a black queen.
Do you know this guy?
I mean, y'all related.
Do you know this guy?
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day. What does that mean?
Do we really know anybody? I'm saying, like, you know. I think in general, the point of small talk is to get past the fluff.
We're doing terrible.
I think we're doing amazing.
This isn't even small talk.
It's not.
Big
That's
talk.
That's what I'm
It
saying.
depends on the person. So if I walk up to everybody like I know them, I talk to people like I know them anyway. But if I walk up to people like I know them and create the conversation, ain't no small talk. What's small talk to a big dog?
He said, ain't no small talk, B. Ain't no small talk. Sorry, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm cool.
I'm cool.
I'm cool.
That was a country. Sorry, I'm cool.
I'm a little weak.
Listen.
But, all right, so for you guys, this is just I'm gonna just move past. I'm not gonna act like we're gonna have small talk because we're not gonna do this successfully. Anyway,
We was very successful.
we
We
wasn't
just breaking character. It wasn't even character. It was just natural.
All right, go ahead. Nah, after you.
The third time I was gonna do it on purpose. First two, I was like, oh no. Nah, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, how often do people come up to you and act like they already know you when they're doing small talk?
They don't. But that's just how I talk, regardless.
Would you
Regardless.
feel better if people came up to you and were like, yeah, let me tell you about this thing that happened.
Oh, no.
The mind is like, because I experienced that.
I just want to
I
know.
know how that feels.
I ask people, how are they first? You know, you got to read the room. Like, what's good?
All right, so
like, yeah.
after you ask,
So you do have small talk.
Yeah.
I ask regular people, like the people I actually know. I was like, "You good? What up?" It ain't just, "Hey, bro, nah." It's like, "What's good?" I gotta see the energy. I gotta feel everything out. Everybody's not in the mental space to take on other people's problems or even listen. So, yeah, if I'm speaking, I'll be wanting to be heard a lot of the time. Like if I'm actually talking about something, I'll be wanting to be heard. So I'm not about to just talk to somebody who I know not going to listen.
Mm.
So
is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know how you got there, but all right. Somebody comes up to you. Hey, how are you?
Amazing.
Right?
How are you?
It's like, hey man, my wife ain't my wife about to leave me. The kids, blah blah blah. How do you feel? They just going.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Can't say hope everything's alright at home. That's the first thing that I think of. Hope everything's alright at home, but if your wife about to leave you and everything else can't be that great unless you want it to happen.
So this is the stuff this is what you saying, sir?
This is what goes on.
I feel like that is terrible.
So I filter the stuff out while I listen. Oh wow. That's wild. I couldn't even imagine.
So what sentence do you land on to say to that person?
Oh wow. I couldn't even imagine.
Oh,
I hope everything gets better, works out for you.
And then what?
It's their turn to respond.
So would you consider that to be small talk then?
Nah, I feel like they need an open ear.
Nah, but that interaction that you just had, like, if that was the stopping point, would that section of it be?
That's heavy. That ain't nobody small talk.
I feel like that's small talk.
Help.
I feel like that's small talk.
Advice for me. I think a small talk like, conversation that don't nobody care about, like, actually. Go ahead.
Based on the definition, I feel like that is small talk.
Because there's no functionality or transaction behind
Yeah, it's no transaction. He didn't ask you, like, there was no question. There was no, like, because you at that point you have the option to be like, this has nothing to do with me, so I'm going to leave this conversation here, or you have the option to open it up to a bigger conversation. Because he didn't say, what would you suggest in this situation? He didn't say that. It was just literally like, this is how I'm doing. He was honest about it, but it's like, this is how I'm doing. My wife about to leave me. And then he was like, oh wow, damn, hope everything gets better. Y'all could have ended the conversation right there. I feel like that's small talk, because that's not, it wasn't anything deeper past the surface level of what's going on.
But I feel like that's also dependent on the person, because like, for you like, that's small talk. For them, they bearing their soul.
I feel like they didn't start bearing anything yet.
That was like, knock, knock, knock. Is anyone home?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you answered. Can I come in?
At that point, I have the option to say, no, you can't come in, or sure, come on in. So I feel like that's the small talk portion, because I didn't let you inside yet. You at the doorstep. No. This is my car just broke down. Can I use your phone? And I'm like,
Am I in the right lane?
But to a degree, I still think it's a little bit more, because again, like, that's something, like, most people don't share their personal life initially. Most people, when they're doing small talk, is how's the weather? Hey, did you see the game? Hey, blah blah blah. Like, it doesn't really have anything to do with you per se, but it's stuff that people typically talk about.
I don't think small talk, sorry to cut you off, has anything to do with any person. Like, it's a transaction happening in that conversation. Like, the family issue conversation.
I don't think so.
So if you pouring yourself out to somebody,
I don't feel like the pouring out of the soul has started happening yet.
If you ask how you doing, and somebody was like, yeah, my wife about to leave me. My kid ain't said happy birthday. My kid said happy birthday in a week.
My hair is
it's like, and they just start going. You don't think that's not personal?
Well, you didn't say that they just started going. You just said,
but that's what I was
good,
saying.
but my wife about to leave me, but and that was it. So like, I'm like, oh, okay, he didn't really start yet. So.
But that it's eluding to. I need somebody to talk to.
Yeah, it's alluding to it, but I don't think that it's okay. It's alluding to it, but I don't think it's like. I feel like it hasn't started yet. Like, I mean, using my own social and personal skills, I can tell you probably need someone to talk to. But am I that person? I don't know.
All right. So, before a fight happens, if they square up, all right, if somebody pull their pants up, in my head, the fight already happened. In your head, did it happen already?
No, that's the small talk.
Mm-mm.
In my head, you asked me about how it is in my head.
All right, to me, if the pants pulled up, they already fighting. It's no stopping that.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know. It's the same thing. Same thing with the conversation. If I'll be like, yeah, everything is not okay. You good? Man, that's a tough question because they got something on their chest that they gotta get off, and it's not even. It's kind of hard to just dismiss that. I mean, if you care about people, or if you have some type of heart, it's kind of hard to just dismiss it. Like, oh dang, well, next, like.
So I want to say two things.
I'm not saying you heartless.
I'm
just saying in general.
If that's how you felt, no.
If the shoe fits.
It sounded like you was calling me heartless.
Wear your Timberlands. Go ahead.
But so the for me in that situation, it's not saying that I wouldn't continue the conversation. But in that moment, I still consider this the small talk until I welcome the actual full-blown conversation. That's it's the setup for the actual conversation. So in my mind, you saying that, me recognizing, oh, you need somebody to talk to, or, oh, okay, you need to vent, or you're about to vent. Me, in that moment, I'm still deciding, do I want to make this a bigger conversation, or do I want to leave it at the small talk?
So, I got a question after you done.
In my experience, I have had a lot of people provide me with like voluntarily unwarranted their life stories and stuff like that. So that's why I categorize it as, or even like I'm in the mental space of I can stop this conversation. Well, now I am, because in the past I wasn't. But like that, I still consider that the small talk, because it's the setup before you actually start spilling your guts and your life story or whatever. For me, that's how I perceive it. I don't perceive it as you already fully started. This is the hypothesis statement. This is the introductory paragraph. And the hypothesis statement is, my wife just left me and da-da-da-da-da. And then we can move on and get into the outline and the body paragraphs and the details. Or I could be like, I don't have the mental capacity for this book right now.
I feel that, but nah, because I think it's personal. I think it depends on the individual, right? Because like for you think that small talk. For the person who's like, hey, my wife just left me, most people don't. That's not the intro of the story. That's in the middle of like, hey, bro, this is like something that's going on that hurts right now. Like, that's not something that's not like a where's the weather. That's not like a regular placeholder. Where's the weather? Like, what's the weather? What did you catch on the game last night? That's not the same level of conversation.
If we watching a old school black movie and the person's falling in the pool and they're like, I bet you're wondering how I got here. That's the intro.
Right, but you know what they do for the intro?
They rewind.
Yeah, but
so I mean, I gotta what?
That's the intro. Yeah, what they do is they let me start from the middle. because this is where.
Yeah, you told me
like,
what you told me the middle.
Or I'm again. So how is that the intro? If you told me the middle,
you told me what's the middle of your life, but you ain't start on the full story yet.
Yes, I'm saying to you, it's small talk. To the person who's venting, that's not small talk for them.
It might be.
I don't think so.
It be some people who just be telling people that statement all the time. Like, that's their natural response to stuff.
Yeah, but I'm saying in general, if you like if I ask you how you are, and then you start telling me, hey, my wife left me, my kids ain't telling me happy birthday, my blah 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 blah, right? All of these things about your personal life that most people are expecting I'm doing all right, thank you. It's like, oh, maybe it's a rough day, thank you. And that's where the conversation ends. If I ask you how you are and I get details about your life, where your kids went to school, all this other stuff, that's not surface level conversation.
Well, you didn't mention kids going to school. We're talking about this one scenario where you said this one statement, this one sentence, and based off of that, my assessment of the conversation is that is the small talk portion, and then we can get into some things. That's my assessment. That's my personal opinion. And also, I was also raised to, like, a lot of times, like, when I was younger, people asked how I was doing. You know what I was told to say? Just say you're doing fine. People don't want to hear about your back hurt, your feet hurt, da-da-da-da, because people don't really care. So, in my head, it's still a part of the small talk portion.
But they didn't say they was good.
That's the point.
I used to get in trouble for that, and the conversation would move on from there. It's not like we had a whole full-blown conversation after that. So the way that I assess it is that's still small talk. Whether you say you're good, whether you say you're bad, it's still the small talk portion.
All right, so right.
All right, I got a question. So if you be like, "How are you?" Somebody like, "I'm thinking about killing myself." Is that small talk?
It's small talk.
That's not. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. No, that's not small talk.
Listen.
That's way beyond small talk.
Okay, well, that is way beyond small talk. But from what the original scenario,
So you think? So hold on. Let's backtrack. So you think if you ask somebody how they are and they're like, my wife about to leave me. You think that's a small talk level of conversation?
Yes, because sometimes when you ask if you ask like a further question, they'll be like, I don't want to talk about it, and then they shut everything down. So in my head, it's like this is the small talk because you haven't actually let me in yet, and I haven't decided if I want to walk into this little story.
So if they just go, is it still small talk?
If they just go, then no, we're full blown conversation now. There was no stop sign, no red light, no yield sign. We just fully blazed right on through.
That's the point of what I was saying. Like if I ask you how you are, and then you're like, and you just start going, you didn't give me a chance to if you didn't give me a chance to engage in small talk. The small talk was, how are you?
Yeah.
And then everything after how are you is all personal information.
But if you stopped at, oh, my wife's about to leave me, and you gave me a chance to respond, I still think we're in the small talk portion, because at that point, I'm deciding if I want to continue this conversation or not.
I wouldn't personally view that as.
I do.
I wouldn't. That's just
small
me.
Talking it up. Because I could be like, oh wow, that's crazy. That happened to Craig last week.
Who the hell is Grae?
But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily view that as small talk. I do think it depends on the person who you're. Because again, something that I would do when I was working at the bank, I would like, hey, how you doing today? Like, all right, I'm good. Like, hopefully you and your family doing okay. To me, that's still a very surface level question. I didn't get specific. Anybody that I would ask that, and they would go, and then I would get a rundown of like, hey, I grew up here, I did this, my family's doing great, and it's like, I'm just asking. I was looking for a yes or no. Everybody's doing great. Thank you for asking.
And if they would have said yes or no, would you consider that small talk still?
Yes.
And if they would have said, no, my wife's about to leave me, and then stop the sentence there, like, I
We-
hope you
we-
have a great day. No, answer the question.
Mhm.
Do you consider that small talk?
No, because we've moved past the
Nah,
portion
still small
that's
talk.
not because all right, put it like this: once you got moved past the portion that's like personal, or once you get into the like stuff that's like more personal details, I can't consider that small talk because it's like everybody isn't privy to this information.
Everybody might be privy to this information. The whole branch might not.
All right, put it like this: all right, why do you think people think that the weather is considered small talk?
You go outside.
Right.
Because
Put a
nobody,
hand out.
right? It's something that everybody can talk about. You can go outside. Hey, everybody can experience. If I start telling you about my life, everybody doesn't experience my life.
I get it.
So that's the reason why I would personally say it depends on like if you may think you have a small talk, that person is like, hey, we're friends.
They might.
Yeah, we're great people, but
But-
you're still thinking that we're having small talk. We're not.
But that's just also me because I had to set boundaries different for myself. So in my head, this is small talk until like if you stop there, like, oh yeah, my wife just left me, and I mean this might sound like that's small talk to me.
That's wild.
Like, and then from there, if we continue the conversation, then all right, it's not small talk anymore. But if you're like, my wife just left me, but I'm just here to get this withdrawal and head on out. Like then all right, we small talked it up and we're done. But if you want to talk to me, and I open that door, then it's full blown conversation.
I see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. I still don't agree.
I don't disagree, but I don't agree. Like, I'm indifferent. I feel like it depends on the situation, depends on the person. But small talk is meant to lead to grander conversations.
Mm-hmm. And my thing is sometimes it leads to it and sometimes it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it be small talk every time we see each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's fine. Small talk game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's just how I look at it. But it's also like a thing where like I was getting a lot of unsolicited information a lot of time. I was getting a lot of people's life stories when all I said was, "Hey."
All I said was, "Wow."
Yeah,
That's tough.
And to me, once you start giving me your life story, I can't call this small talk anymore. Because it's like, I'm getting your life story. That's the reason why it's like, I mean, granted, whether or not I care is a totally different matter. But like, this is mad information. Like,
see, in my mind, that's not the story yet. That's just like the title or like the little
them
subtitle.
giving me their life story?
No, like them just saying, my wife just left me. That's just like the little subtitle. Like the title is, I'm not okay. My wife just left me. And then...
I feel like the I'm not okay would be the...
That's the big title.
That's the, yeah.
And then the little subtitle is my wife just left me. And then it...
Do I want to read this book?
Exactly. Like...
Man, what you do?
Right.
What you do, Craig?
So, I mean, yeah, I look at it differently. So, I mean, probably for most people...
And that was also my point, is that it's personal.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I was only talking about my like what I consider. I wasn't talking about everybody else's perspective on it. I just, I was working in a bank too. I was a banker, so people would sit down and tell me about their life. And I would be like, wow, I just said, what's the last four of your social? So.
Oh, the last four of my social is 0000, but I came up rough.
Yeah, exactly. This is
rough.
And I'll be like, wow.
and to me, once we hit that territory, we have moved past it. But whether it was voluntary for me or not, I'm like.
But at that point, we're already in story mode. So if you cut it off with an option for me to respond before we get into story mode, that's why I'm like, this is still small talk. Because you gave me room. You didn't just go, my social is 0000. actually, you know, I grew up out in the hood, and then on the south side, and then I went on the left side, and then I went on the right side, and then when I came up the little side of that. So that's why my account's overdrawn right now. And my wife just left me, and you know, I understand. Like I know it's been rough. You know, I just want to do a withdrawal, but you don't.
But that was my initial example. I just didn't finish it. That was really my initial example.
I thought you were literally just saying the one sentence, and then you know.
No.
So that's why I was going.
I mean, but even if it's just the one, to me, even if it's just the one sentence, it's still like depending on what that one sentence is, you might be like, wow, that was a lot of information. I didn't. That was TMI. I didn't need to know that.
That was a run-on sentence.
Yeah, like woo,
definitely was.
I did not
Want some
need
water?
It's just like, so do you need to have a seat? You know, you need to take a moment. Just take a moment.
Mm-hmm. It's a line, but you know we can hold that line for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get that. But I thought you were talking about just stopping at the one sentence. And I'm like, well, if that's all you gave me and we're done here, or we might be done here, then, I mean, that's small talk to me. But if it's like yeah, I'm not doing good, my wife just left me to da-da-da-da, then you didn't even give me space to, so that means
So two things is...
We're already in
Two things makes it not small talk. One thing is still small talk. I'm just curious.
No, I was still going. Like, it was just like...
So all right, if it was like my wife left me and my kids left home. That's still small talk? Yeah, that's crazy. She's like, yeah, that's still some small talk.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on how you respond.
I was going to say, because that's why I was saying that I determine at that point if we're going to keep going or if it's just like we're going to stop here. So at that point, I'm like, if I say, oh, wow, that's crazy. Well, you know, I hope things get better, but here's your transaction. And you go about your day, that's just the small talk for me. But if I'm like, oh, wow, you know, I heard about kids leaving home and da-da-da. I read this book. You know, you should get this book about da-da-da. It might help in this time of despair. And then he just keep going, and that's a different thing.
All right, new question. So why don't y'all like small talk?
I was really thinking about that.
I don't know. I have great small talk. I'm really good about one, it'd be like in my head. I'll be in my head a lot, but one, it'd be like they don't care about it. Like, do they even want to talk to me? Mm-hmm. I don't want to be a bother. Like, I don't want to be annoying. Yeah. But I don't have annoying conversation.
I think for me, I kind of be like, I don't know. I'd be like, let's get to the point. Like, why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about if the grass was green yesterday? Like, what you want? I think underlying, I be feeling like people want something.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. And I don't be wanting people. Sorry to cut you off. I don't be wanting people to think I want something from them. Sometimes I just be talking. Like, oh yeah, I like those. Nice.
Yeah, but a lot of times I encounter like people small talking with me because they actually want something, whether it just be like information or whatever, and it's like, oh, you could have just asked me that. Like we didn't have to do this little
they trying to feel like they be having to
butter me up.
Yep, I was about to say that.
Yeah,
just to be like, so. But about that recipe you posted, like just comment, hey, what's the recipe?
But on the flip side, it'd be like, dang, hi, how are you? You didn't even ask me how I was doing.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like you ain't even greet me. You could have asked me hello before you decided to ask me for something.
It's a slippery slope.
But I think it's very nuanced. But hold on, why don't you like small talk before I go into my tangent?
I feel like I don't be having a choice whether or not to like small talk because people just come up to me and talk to me. So I mean, it doesn't necessarily bother me. I don't hate it as much as I used to. I think I'd prefer to just have a regular conversation. We don't have to act like we both don't want to be here. Mm-hmm. Like we not we can't we in line at this grocery. I wish I wasn't here. We don't gotta
chop it up.
Hey, isn't the weather crazy? I mean, it might be. It might be a regular day. Like if you would have been like, it would have been funnier to me to be like, man, I hate standing in these lines. I feel you, bro. I really do hate standing in these lines too. And it just like, yeah, it could have been something like that.
You can't even see outside. Like, yo, this weather is something else. When I walked in the sun, it's like partly cloudy, but It's 76.
Yeah,
I don't know about crazy.
But that's what I mean though. Like I feel like it's a nuanced thing. Like in what type of small talk that you have and who the person is also, because I don't know. It's weird. Like, okay, somebody just texted me today, and I was like, you could have just asked. Like, I was thinking, we had the little small talk, but it's like, you could have just asked me this. You didn't even have to. But I also know that this person was probably really checking on me, so it was also like, oh.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's a weird thing. I feel like I don't hate it as much as I used to. And in having this conversation, small talk is kind of funny to me now. But I feel like it's a nuanced thing. Like, you don't have to have the small talk linger, and it doesn't have to be a weird topic or something that's just like nobody really cares about. Like, I mean, we do care about the weather, people. The weather is important.
Word.
But I'ma just check my phone for the weather. We don't need to talk about it in line, like you were saying.
I think small talk, it should be relevant.
Yes, to whatever
I'm about to ask you or whatever is going on. So if we in line and there's no windows right around us to see the weather, don't talk to me. It like, I don't a word. That's all I got for you. The weather is crazy. Word, it is. Actually, I don't think it's that crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, it's only two ways I can go. But if it's relevant, like, hey, I don't like these lines. Wow, they definitely need to open up some more registers. That's a fact. Wow, you want me to check you out? 'Cause I can go do that. I don't know. We can have a little back and forth, a little banter, but I think it should be relevant to whatever is going on.
Yeah, like I think the people who and even if I'm thinking about back in like when I was in school, like the people who I ended up being friends with, it wasn't even really a small talk thing. It was like we ended up in a scenario where we just happened to like, let's say we make eye contact, and we was like, hey, yo, bro, that's wild. Yeah, that's. I don't know what they was thinking. I wouldn't have done it. You know, right? Yeah, because like it wasn't necessarily a small talk. It was just kind of like a, wow, that's, woo. This was an honest thought. It wasn't even like this isn't a placeholder. This isn't like a.
But that's the small talk.
I wouldn't, cause I mean, I guess I to a degree.
Like just that's like because it's
not
the
even talk.
Yeah, like wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
right? But that is a form of small communication. But like that's a small talk that leads to something. It's not like oh yeah, the weather outside is frightful, isn't it? Like yeah, like the song. Like, you know, that's weird. But I would probably laugh at that because like, why would you say that? But I'm sorry.
Yeah, I used to get people who came in. It used to make me laugh because the only time the times we really got into the weather is like if it was brick, like if it's freezing outside, or if it's like it's ridiculously hot. Because I see them coming in and I'm like,
it's hot in the coochie out there.
I was like, I'm guessing. I'm just
I seen that in a movie.
But they come in and they sweating, and it's like I might have just, my first thought might have been like, it must be hot because you look greasy. Mm-hmm. But I didn't say that. But it was like it gotta be woo. And then it's like, yeah, it's hot, ain't it? Scorch outside, ooh. And then we move on from there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you good?
I'm good. I'm good.
I don't know. So yeah, I don't know that I hate small talk. I think I don't like meaningless small talk, like, or irrelevant small talk. But then sometimes it be, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess if it's irrelevant.
All right, so if we never had small talk, how do you think life would be?
I like small talk for that reason because I don't be wanting to know everybody's business. I feel like if we didn't have small talk, like small talk didn't exist, everybody would know everybody's business. But I guess it would be small talk. It would be talk or no talk.
I don't think so. I think it's levels to small talk, and I feel like small talk is only small talk if you consider it to be small talk. Now thinking about it, I've been quiet for a while.
Yeah.
Small talk is small talk. Only if you decide it's small talk.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
But I mean, I was saying the exact same thing. I was saying...
Y'all just didn't agree with my version of small talk.
So it's small talk. I wouldn't even say small talk. I wouldn't even call it small talk. A lot of times, small talk is just a conversation starter, like you were saying, introduction.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like even a hello, that's small talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can get into whatever.
Yeah.
Peace.
That's small talk.
But and what I was saying was depending on the person, like for you is like you're looking at it like, oh, this is the intro. They can come in and go straight to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the beat drop.
Yeah.
This finna hit so
But like they can and for them, they got straight to the story. So it's like that's not considered small talk to them. So it's like I think it just depends. It might just be a both parties thing, but like on both ends you gotta.
But I think the relevance of conversation is different for both parties as well. So like just because like our realities are different, so any conversation that anybody holds, my perspective of the conversation may be different from your perspective of the conversation versus Breeze's perspective of the conversation. So I may be like, oh, we just had some small talk, it wasn't nothing crazy. You might be over here like, Breeze is out here, spilling his guts, he said, whatever happened. And then Breeze is like, I just told my whole life story out here, and I'm just over here like, we just had some small talk.
Yeah, I don't believe in small talk. I don't think small talk is a thing now. I don't like to categorize it as small talk. It's just conversation.
Yeah, the regular pleasantries and greetings. Hey, how you doing?
I think small talk is a thing.
To me, that's usually where it's at. And if it's that or it's stuff that like is just a regular stuff that everybody can relate to, but it's not really specific to anybody. Because I think once you start getting into the specifics of like you as a person, I wouldn't consider it small talk anymore. Because again, that's personal details, and I know stuff about the story. Once I know stuff about the story, I can't act like this is just he's just giving me the intro.
So if you getting to know somebody, is that you consider that small talk? Like because you asking personal questions and personal thoughts, is that small talk?
I think it depends.
If you care or not.
No, I was gonna say depends on what questions you ask, because some people's version of getting to know people, their questions are surface level, and then other people's version of getting to know people, they ask a lot of deeper questions that lead to broader conversations. Because if I'm just like, so like you could say that it's still small talk. I wouldn't say that it's definitely still small talk, but if it's just like hey, what's your sign? What's your favorite color? What you doing today? That's kind of small talk.
Yeah, but I think with like the what's your sign could also depend on who's on the other opposite end. Could be a way deeper
conversation.
Like,
so
you were what?
Yeah, it can be seen. That's why I was like, it can be seen as small talk, but it depends. It depends on how the questions are asked, who's asking the questions, or even if it was like what's your sign, and then they just responded with their sign, and then the other person asked
for the birth chart, like with the birth chart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, or it could have been like the other person responded with their sign, and then the original person responded like, "Hey, this is your birth chart." Or something like that, or like, how deep are you into astrology? Like, no, but
this
like,
is my sign. Oh, this is your birth chart.
No, but like asking like, oh well, are you into astrology? Are you not? Like, because that could lead to a broader conversation. I feel like it can all lead to a broader conversation. It just depends on how you decide to carry the conversation.
Yeah, I feel you.
They don't like my answers, y'all.
Nobody said that.
Yeah, I would, like I said, I just have a different
perspective.
Yeah, I think this. Like I said, I think most of the small talk is just stuff that like, if I don't know nothing about you, like if we're talking and then I leave the conversation and I know nothing about you, we probably had some small talk. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
believe in small talk. Big talk. Well, small talk to a big dog.
But what if? So what if you leave the conversation feeling like you ain't really learned nothing about them, but they leave the conversation feel like they learned everything about about you, or vice versa,
then for them, it probably wasn't small talk. For me, probably was some small talk. I didn't share nothing. If I didn't share, like you could think that we bond. There's been times people think that we relate because I just like, okay, I feel that. They thinking we agree, we on the same page. I just said I agree with something you said. I didn't share nothing that I actually thought. So it just depends. I think it just depends on how personal you're. Like once you start getting personal information. Again, we're not talking about your social or nothing, but start getting some personal information. Then I think it's a little bit past the hey, how you doing? Okay, it's a wonderful day we're having, isn't it? Like that to me, that's all okay. The set up. Nah, it's actually a terrible day because blah blah. Hold up.
hold it.
Hold up. This is we're approaching non-small talk.
Warning.
Right.
We're putting like
abort mission. That's what my mom used to say when I was at work.
Yeah.
Not in regular life situations. I'm not heartless, guys.
But now I'm thinking like I don't even know if it would be better if we didn't do small talk because like sometimes I don't even be prepared. Like I'm not always prepared to just be.
Yeah, some people throwing me off sometimes.
Like, but give me a second, please. Take me out to dinner first. Goodness.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think small talk is a bad thing. Because also, like, it kind of helps you fill out the person. Like, if you never met them before or, maybe you do want to be their friend.
Maybe people just small talk different.
Probably.
Maybe that's it. Like,
my talk different.
Like the small talk is different. Like you small talk about this. Some people may small talk about music. Some people may small talk about
the ocean.
The ocean, yeah. It's like have you seen some people definitely small talk about politics.
Yeah, I don't like small talking about politics.
I'd be like, oh dang. I mean, I'm not well versed in politics, so I can't really speak on that.
I'd be like, I'm at work. We're not supposed to speak. I really just kind of check out of the conversation sometimes. Like, sometimes I'll be listening, and it's not that I'm disinterested. I just feel like politics it can either be a really good conversation or it could go really bad.
Well, I think because the thing with politics is, like, the underlying thing is, like, it's a belief system. So,
right.
Like, it's about, like, what you believe, and it's, like, sometimes when you make statements, it even if you don't necessarily believe it can convince people that you believe something that you might not.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going here?
Might not believe. But no, so I think that's why it's like when you actually like having small talk about politics can usually lead to bigger conversations that people don't usually want to have. So
right. And I'll be like, I'm not. Because then I might get upset and I might be like, so you believe that? Let's not do this because I don't know you like that, and I don't know if I want to know you like that.
But then after, I feel like once you get to the point where it's like, well, you believe, we are not in small talk territory anymore.
We're not. That's why I'll be like, I don't want to small talk about politics. Then I'll go back to the weather. Did you see the sun? It was out today. Like.
Well, you know who's controlling the weather.
I would rather have that conversation.
Did you see the sun? But I'm not trying to go blind. Did you see the sun?
Even with that.
Yeah, you be on TikTok too much. Alright, know what you say? They say you're not supposed to look at the sun, but why are you not supposed to look at the sun?
It be hurting my eyes, so I think.
Superpowers. Supposed to close your eyes. Look at the sun gaze.
Close your eyes and look at the sun. How is that sun gazing if your eyes are closed?
Because you're still gonna see the light.
Is it because the sun is looking at you?
It's because the sun is so powerful.
Yeah, it's still
bright.
gonna.
But you're not gazing. Your eyes are closed.
You can still see the
It's
light.
it's just a fun way.
I know.
It's just a fun way of. It's like the terminology isn't literal. It's just.
I think they should change that.
Try it.
I've done it
able
before.
To see the sun. You know where the sun is at and where the sun is not.
I've done it before, but I wouldn't call it sun gazing. I'm not gazing at the sun. My eyes are closed.
You're not spiritual.
I am spiritual.
Which way? Spiritual?
I just want want them to change the name.
We not at work. Yo, yo. Oh man, you don't gotta stay on these hills.
No, I'm just saying. Why you had to do that? Anyways, do y'all have any final thoughts on small talk?
Big talk. Let's have it all. I got nothing for it.
What's small talk to a big dog?
Help. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Grae. I am Shakoya D.
Being Breeze.
It's your boy, the money.
And, yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. This episode...
I thought that was a gunshot.
The moral of the story is small talk is different for everybody. So let us know if you hate small talk, if you love small talk, what you think small talk is. Do you agree with me, or do you agree with them? Or do you agree with yourself?
I don't subscribe to small talk. I'm indifferent about small talk.
Do you believe in small talk? Or also, like, where's your small talk stop? What would you consider not being small talk? Anyways, just comment below. Also, don't forget to join our Patreon. Starts at the low of $3 a month for more exclusive content, as well as watching the podcast live. And yeah, we'll see y'all next time.
Adios.
Stay blessed, stay black, people.
Push the goddamn button.